Bob Mullen. I'm the Communications Director for the City of Johns Creek. And welcome to the first installment of what we're titling this as Creekside Chats. It's an opportunity for us to sit down with various subject matter experts and department heads and folks in the know about what's going on in the City of Johns Creek, what's happening, what new projects are taking place, and how the city actually works to serve its residents and businesses. And today with me here I have Ben Song, who is our Director of Community Development. And Ben, thanks for taking the time to sit with us and chat a little bit about what you do.
Yeah, Bob, I really greatly appreciate the opportunity to be here and to chat about the Community Development Department. The Community Development Department is made up of 5 divisions. We got building, code compliance, land development, as well as planning and zoning, and administrative division. Administrative is not as large, but they do provide a key function for the city. They're the first bright face that they see when they walk into the city at our reception desk, and they provide all the direction that you need if it's your first visit to City Hall.
Oh, that's great. So I'm walking into City Hall. I don't know how to file a permit or where do I go for court or anything like that? That's
correct,
there
yeah.
to help. Huh?
And
That's
they're
awesome.
right there, and they're the first point of contact there available for you. So there shouldn't be any hesitation or fear of coming into the City Hall.
Tell us a little bit more about the other departments that you have or components of community development.
In general, I mean, community development, hence the name, right? We are here to provide that connection from the legislative end, you could say, to the public, and explain our rules and regulations in a more sort of relaxed, informal way, in layman's terms, if you want to call it that.
Sure.
We do provide services that I would sort of deem as first responders, not from an emergency standpoint, but definitely from development and everyday life issues that we run into as homeowners or business owners, be it signs or issues with our neighbors, issues with property maintenance, building safety. Those are all aspects that we cover on a day-to-day basis.
But talk a little bit more about community development and its attention to safety.
Yeah, safety is a key aspect of anything. A lot of the times as homeowners, we talk about that's the greatest investment that we can make in a lifetime. And when we think about that way, you really have to think, okay, how safe is the building that I occupy on a daily basis, especially with my family? And so we take great pride in providing those services. And this service starts from the beginning of just even understanding what that scope of a project may be from a homeowner. Let's say more realistically or relatable to homeowners, maybe a deck, maybe an addition, kitchen renovation, basement finish, whatever the case may be. We want to make sure all components that go into it, although it may seem small and minuscule, there's a lot of different small details that go into it, be it the trade permits, electrical, HVAC, plumbing, a lot of different things that we as folks who are busy taking care of kids, working, doing other things, that we trust a contractor or a professional that we hire to make sure that they're doing the right thing. Well, we're there to do that for them by going back and providing the inspection services, by reviewing the plans before they even go out and perform the work. So that's a very important function and role that we play, all for the safety of our residents.
For example, I have a cousin who does some carpentry work. He says, I can build you that new deck you're looking about, and just don't worry, I've got the plans up here and we're going to just take care of it. Tell me why that's a bad idea.
And sometimes when it's a family member, it makes it that much more difficult to say no. The reason being is sometimes you yourself should be aware of what's going on and what improvements are being made. Second, it's always beneficial to have a building permit, one for insurance purposes, homeowners insurance. Building permit assures that everything has been done correctly. As part of, let's say, a deck permit, you'll get a certificate of completion, and that is proof that it has gone through the strenuous exercise of review and inspections that the city essentially says it has met our requirements. And with that, it just makes life much more easier and more relaxing. But yes, I think it's always important for the resident to be fully aware of what they're getting themselves into, understanding what that project details, so that you also know what the general cost may be. to understand the products, the materials that are bought by a contractor. Does it really match with the plans that were approved? And if you don't have a plan, you don't necessarily know where you're going with it. So I think it's it's an important aspect of understanding sort of construction from the the residential standpoint. And at the end of the day, like I said, I think it's just more of a safer route for residents, and especially if they're looking to live there for quite some time, or even if they're looking to sell.
Sure. We're talking a little bit about residential, but I know there's been a number of commercial developments that have been growing. In fact, the city has even created a larger commercial district called the Town Center,
yes.
And that's right outside City Hall area. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there, what you're seeing, and how that has evolved over time.
Yeah. I think one thing that I want to share up front is when we talk about Town Center, I think the appropriate way to explain the Johns Creek Town Center is it's an area. It's not a development that the city is taking on ourselves to create a town center. It's a vision and plan that was adopted by council in October of 2021, essentially casting that vision out for private property owners to understand, okay, where does the city want to move forward, especially in this area that we refer to as Town Center, where City Hall is strategically located, where Creekside Park is located as well. And we're, as mentioned, I think the cities, we are making investments from amenities standpoint, recreational package standpoint. But in terms of the overall development, there's a lot of different exciting things that are coming up from the private end. And this couldn't have been possible if we did not adopt that town center vision and plan. I think key developments that we are aware of, and it's just waiting to come off, one is waiting to come off the ground. The other one has already started, and you can see the vertical improvements taking place. The vertical improvement is related to Boston Scientific, which is a national life sciences company that has decided to locate their headquarters in the city of Johns Creek. And then the other is Medley at Johns Creek, which is our first mixed-use development. And when I say mixed-use and first, it's the first horizontally and vertically integrated mixed-use. And what that details is it would have 750 units of luxury multifamily. It would have about 138 luxury townhomes, 200,000 square feet of retail, and 110,000 square feet of office.
So a real live, work, play community that it's coming out of the ground. And that's based on some of the city's earlier investments in what's going on. As you said, the parks, Creekside Park, City Hall, trails that are going on in the area as well, too.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many exciting things going. I mean, in terms of connectivity, walkability, all the things that we outlined in the town center plan, we took the steps of coming up with an implementation plan, and we're following through on that. And when we talk about follow through, it's not just sort of coming up with plans on paper. It's actual public investment that has taken place, and it's very exciting to see in such a short amount of time.
What sort of future developments, if you can talk about any that are coming down in the town center area that you would see, or some that you might see as something that the town center area might need or is optimal for?
I think from the town center end, obviously we got a big corporate entity that has moved in, as mentioned in Boston Scientific. We got the mixed-use development in Medley. Now it's sort of balancing the different interests and needs throughout the town center area. And when we talk about balancing, I think it's also how do we attract additional office users, more corporate headquarters, and also different types of retail needs. And so we do have another exciting development that was approved not too long ago called the Terraces. They're right off of Johns Creek Parkway and McGinnis Ferry Road. And that's going to be an exciting brunch spot, restaurant options that connects directly to another project the city's doing, which is the stream restoration.
Talk a little bit about that. Yeah. What's going on there?
So I don't know all the details, and I'll leave that fun part to the Public Works and the stormwater utility end, because they're actually doing a great job of that. But to just those folks who are interested in knowing a little bit more about it, it's a heavily sort of eroded area in between East Johns Crossing and McGinnis Ferry. And what we wanted to do is create that natural sort of environment again. There is already a bridge that exists there today that connects one of the office buildings to our hotels, 2 of the 3 hotels that we have in the town center. And it just doesn't get a lot of attention or people don't even know that it's there just because the area is overgrown. But more so, what that does, it also is a benefit to our stormwater management aspect, especially around this area, and how it impacts our Creekside Park. And so by working on that restoration and what is to come with Creekside Park behind City Hall is going to be this trail that essentially would lead from Johns Creek Parkway all the way on up to McGinnis Ferry Road.
Oh, great.
So I think I'm very excited.
Yeah.
And these other opportunities that we have to connect the east-west portions from a connectivity, walkable pedestrian standpoint is also exciting.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it not only gives those new residential areas a chance to get some walkability and some maybe some pedestrian activity, as well as some of the existing businesses that are already here in the town center area, so folks can either go get a lunch at a nearby location or take a break and walk on the trail.
Yeah, I think it benefits everyone that's in this area and outside of it, along the perimeter or anywhere in Johns Creek, just to have an exciting place to come to, a true destination, if you want to call it that, where, yes, you have a lot of different options that you could get into, from the passive to the more active end of it. So we're really excited. This is just the beginning, I think, of what is to come to Johns Creek. But at the same time, we want to be responsible in terms of how we go about making those developments or approving developments or for recommending developments to council. As council, ultimately, they're the one, the mayor and council is the ultimate group that approves such developments. But yeah, that's another critical function that we perform. And we take sort of great pride in doing that work and understanding that it's not necessarily anything for us individually or staff in the city, but it's ultimately for the benefit of the residents and businesses of Johns Creek.
Is there anything you want to say in closing about community development or anything that I didn't touch on?
Yeah, look, I think the main point to make, and I've been consistent in this in our discussion today, is do not hesitate to reach out to us. We are here to answer your questions. If you don't know, then you won't know how to proceed. And so we're happy to assist with the navigation of whatever that process is, whatever issue it may be. And if it's not us, we'll also know where to direct you to. So I think that's the thing, that City Hall and Johns Creek as our sort of the way we operate as a whole, not just my department, not the community development department, but every department, is we're here to help each other and help the public, and I hope that people will take advantage of that.